Hi, everybody. My name is Gary. Hey, over the last few days, actually about a week ago, there was this guy named Martin. And a lot of you have probably seen Martin on the news quite often. He's the 75-year-old gentleman from Buffalo, New York. President Trump has tweeted about him saying he's probably Antifa. Uh, who knows? Anyways, I have my own opinion on what happened. And for those of you that care to see what it's like broken down, I'm going to dig into it nice and deep. The whole incident lasted about a minute. It's probably going to take me upwards of an hour to go through it. I have many different videos. I was able to pull up 6 different videos from different sources, including different news teams, different angles. And if you want to see what the truth is, have a seat and let's enjoy. Okay, here we go. First one, which would be, I'm going to start off with a couple of pictures just to kind of set what the scene is that's going on. There's a lot more to what's going on than what the media has described to you in their news coverage. They're sticking to one video that they're showing that's put out by the NPR, even though many other news outlets have been there to film this whole thing. First video right here is NPR. They're the blue jackets right here. I'm sorry, that's not NPR. That's ABC7 Buffalo. This news team right here probably has the best footage out of everybody, but they're refusing to release it. After them, if you notice, there's several news teams, just all happen to be set up. This one over here was they're out of Buffalo also, and I don't know if it's him or over here because it's hard to tell, of course, when you're behind the camera, but we're going to show their footage. And also this guy back here, see him back here? He took some unusual footage, not him personally. I guess it's probably his girlfriend that took the footage, but you see him in it and you see him kind of directing like where to stick the camera, when to stick. Kind of interesting. You're going to absolutely want to see that one there. So when you get into here, was it really a scene of a trip and fall, or was the whole thing kind of set up? This image right here was kind of interesting. This was taken from the NPR video here. And when you look at the background on here, you notice one thing. You notice there's some police cars back here. We're going to get into those a little bit more. There's actually several police cars, and they're doing more of a roadblock than anything else back there. And we'll talk about that throughout the video, what's going on there. We're also going to talk a little bit about what happened during the scene here and who are the players here. This guy, this guy, this guy, and how about these military back here and what's going on. So pretty interesting when you analyze those few facts right in there with those people. Also pay attention over here. You'll notice that the officers, they're on watch over here to make sure that traffic is being blocked off. Just to kind of set the stage on this whole thing of when it happened. Curfew is at 8 p.m. They extended the curfew till 8:05 for whatever reasons. This happened shortly thereafter, as you notice that there's plenty of lighting that's going on there. I'm going to say it probably happened somewhere around 8:10, 8:15 at the very latest. And it was pretty well timed out to how it needed to go down. Also, when we talk about this guy, watch his hand. It's all wrapped up. Also, where's his badge? Who is this guy? That's the question people need to be asking. Who is this guy? Coming over here, this is a better angle here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 police cars and more media with cameras. If you notice back here, this is important to see. There is nobody on the sidewalk. I had to take this video and actually turn it upside down so you're not looking at an upside down video. This was by the NPR guy here. But you can see that they've completely closed it off. They told everybody go home. but it's strange that only over here you got camera crew, and then you got three guys that are sitting over on the left-hand side. One is the makeshift protester, NPR guy, and then another camera guy that is also the voice of the screaming protesters, what I'm seeing. And then you got this guy here, you can see, barely see his head popping up. Skateboard dude, he's also cameraman. So those are the players of the video. I'm going to play this once through, then I'm going to come back and replay it again. You notice that on the start over here, officers are just kind of watching to the back here. Okay, they're giving their directions here. Okay, time to march. When they hit the time to march sign, you're going to see that's when Martin decides to go running forward. He's in a very relaxed mode until then. I got some information. This right here is his motorcycle helmet. That is not a helmet that was to be returned. That's his actual motorcycle helmet. Anyways, let's and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. I'm going to show you what my source is. It's telling me the motorcycle helmet on that one. The loud bang you may or may not hear, that's the helmet crashing. And we're also going to talk about how he falls. It's pretty unique to watch, and you got to really slow it down. And you're going to see that the only thing that should be hurting on him is not here, okay, like what they're saying. It's right here. He actually lands here and does a roll into it, and then he waits about 2 seconds before he actually puts his head down. Let's play it.
He's not a He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him medic. What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm on the ground. Get the fuck away. Y'all don't want this shit. Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get back.
Better get an ambulance for him.
We have an EMT on scene.
Like I said, a lot going on, very short amount of time. You probably didn't catch it all. Let's take this thing a little bit slower, and I'm going to break it down for you, okay, from what I've noticed. And I know that there's no way I could have caught it all, so I like to think I did, but I know that's not going to happen. Hit the play. Okay, first thing, watch him start to run up, okay? He gives the first shove right here. Who is this guy? Also, my question, why is he the only one that doesn't have a gun in his hand or a baton? Baton. Everybody has either a gun or a baton that's going through here. He has nothing at all. His badge is a little bit different. I don't get what that is. Also, you watch his leg. He has a red can, probably some sort of a pepper spray. And I think that that's just a way to make him a marker. You watch the back of his helmet. Also, he's the only officer with a red piece of tape on the back of his helmet. This one here has a different arm badge than everybody else also. He has no badge at all. And I don't know what his purpose is. We'll see. Okay, here's where they're talking about where he's trying to steal the information from the cell phone. He puts his phone out. And it's his way of getting at the officers to see what's going to happen. Okay, here's the first shove. You can see Officer 1, Officer 2, Officer 3. Why are not 3 officers suspended? Why are only 2 officers suspended? Good question, no idea. Okay, here's the fall. If you look over in the corner, you can see he's actually sitting straight up during the fall. If I can take this slow enough, I'm going to show you. You can slow it down on your own, you know, via the YouTube, and you'll actually see where he goes down. So watch the officer's belt over here as your measurement gauge. You're going to see he's going to go down, and he's actually going to pop back up with his head a little bit, go back down, and he's actually going to roll into his final position. And then when he finishes his roll, his legs kick up, and then they cross over. Let's go nice and slow. Okay, this is interesting. So here, let's back it up just a little bit. Let's see if we can pull it
up. He is leaking! He's not good!
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to pull that up. Okay, when we start at this position right here, we're going to go super slow. Okay, let's take note right here. This officer, it grabs him by the vest and actually pushes him out of the way. Here's the red spray I was talking about. From as near as I could see, I think I saw one other officer that had that on there, but it's kind of bright to kind of show. Is he really a cop? I don't know. Not even a nightstick in the side over here. What's he doing there? I think he's part of it. Okay. His head in that last scene was still up. Here, he's halfway through the body. Head is still well above the ground, hasn't touched yet. Take note, he's almost all the way through the body. He actually started back here. He went down, he went back up, and still head hasn't touched the ground yet. All the way through the body, still no head, and we're about 2 seconds in without his head even touching the ground. There, his head begins to touch the ground at about 2.5 seconds into the video. This is our first clear look at this one. Okay, so I was wrong about this one. This one has the PL1. He's the only one with that one. This one has the red tape on the back of it with no other marking. All these other officers have markings on their helmet. Here you can see his hand really good. It's all wrapped up for whatever reason, and he's obviously not wearing the same kind of uniform as everybody else. Who is he? I don't know. By the way, I live in California. I do not live in New York. I've never been to this site here. I do not know any of these officers here. It's just I found this one to be very interesting, is why I'm making a video. Right here, you saw that his head was still up at 11 seconds. Legs are crossed over here. Yeah, we got a little bit better look here. PL1 out of the way. He's calling for whatever. This right here is the medic, along with, this is interesting. Okay, you can see his arm badge is a little bit different. So is he like Parks or something? I don't know what he is. So this medic here is taking his time. Normally they would already be rushing over. Now it gets very interesting. We're going to watch what happens with the protester, the lone protester. And when you see the protester in the following video from the across the street view, you're going to say, what the heck?
Get a medic.
Okay, there you just heard one of the the voice you just heard was the secondary cameraman, and you'll see that wasn't the protester. He was the other guy holding the camera next to the NPR photographer. Okay, these are our medics. I've never ever in my life seen medics show up looking like this. Here's our third medic right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody, all these other officers are all used to block the medics for the camera. They don't want you to see what the medics are doing. Now, by the way, you're going to see that in a minute. Okay, it's important to take note here that the time on here is 19 seconds in. Here's the first protester. You can't tell what's going on, but you can see the row of cameras right here. They're the only ones here. Everybody else has been chased away. Why weren't all the camera crews chased away? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Okay, 19 seconds. Watch what happens. In 8 seconds flat. That's your hint. At 27 seconds, what's happening? Okay. Already dropping the sign, and they're pulling him into all the officers. I'm sure that's probably standard procedure. I know I've seen that a 1,000 times. Here's our red tape, by the way, marking the one officer. Okay, going into, heading towards Martin. This is a photographer. He's disguised as a skateboard dude, but he is a photographer. You can see professional news team set up here. That's our ABC7 News, Buffalo right here. And these are all news media. Look at the belts here. They're all ready for the filming to see who got the winning shot. Why are you only seeing one video? Maybe two if you're lucky. I got 6. I got 6 to show you, and it's taken me a long time to find them. Believe me. Okay, we're at 22 seconds in, and you can see he's already been pulled into the police crowd here. Why would they go that direction, knowing that they have somebody over here that's injured? Okay, 22 seconds in. Medic number 1 is getting in position. Medic number 2 in position. That's amazing, because at 10 seconds in is when he went down. We're only 12 seconds into that. Okay, ready for what happens? Look at this. The quickest arrest in police history.
Back up. Back up.
Right there. 27 seconds in, already got him in the cuffs. Let's back it up one screen. Already has the hands in his position. Already knows, hey, I guess I'm being arrested. I'm not being talked to. In only 8 seconds. Here's our next medic, ready to go to action. Here's our standbys, watching the back line. Right here. These guys, they look pretty badass. Don't know what they're all about. This guy, still on guard duty over here. Okay. When you watch, you're hearing a voice of a female police officer, and you would think that she's pushing the NPR photographer way out of the way, but you're not seeing what's going on with his camera. His camera starts to turn, goes upside down, and when you watch it from one of the next videos, and you're watching the NPR photographer and the police officer pushing away, you're like, he didn't have to put down his camera for that. Seriously? See how she's pushing? You'd think that she's like right next to him. No, she's several feet away.
Oh, get back.
Here he is. That's our NPR photographer.
Get back.
Okay, he's screaming, you better get an ambulance. He already knows what's up.
Ambulance for him. We have EMT on scene.
And that's a wrap. Let's take it back to the end. They would want you to believe here that he's completely knocked out. You can see paramedic on scene. Okay, backpack from the other paramedic, already on scene, already getting ready to help him. Hand hasn't moved yet. Just a miserable situation here. Anyways, let's go to our next video. Eyewitness News, Buffalo, New York. We're going to show a couple things first. You know, before you get into the footage of ABC7 News out of Buffalo, I want to show you this one image that you see on the screen right here, because the reporter, about a minute 15 seconds into her reporting, talks about a group of protesters. So I am assuming that this is the group of protesters she's talking about right here that are very wild. So there's our group of protesters right there. She talks about a little statement from the mayor. You know, anyways, it's kind of quick, and the whole video lasts about 2.5 minutes. But I want to kind of point this out. Also, during the interview, so the interview time was the very next day. It was the 5 or 6 p.m. News hour, the evening news, and it was very surprising that ABC News 7 was standing over in this area during the when this whole thing went down with their cameras going. They probably had the best video of everybody, but they're only showing a couple seconds of their video, and then they made whatever arrangement for their news hour, as they don't want to show their video. I would think it would be a great idea that if somebody lives in the Buffalo, New York area, let's demand that they release all of their video. And their video is very telling to what the true story is. You know, why are they not putting their video out? They got video of this whole incident going down. They got video of Martin getting in the ambulance. You know, show us your video, ABC7. Put it out. I got a lot of my information from the ABC7 Facebook, Twitter, reporters pages, and their own website. Okay, they were probably my best source of information when it come to a lot of this stuff. Unfortunately, on their video though, I could not save a good copy, so it's a little bit on the grainy side that you're going to watch, but you're still going to get the idea of what's going on. Anyways, let's I'm playing their news broadcast first because it's important you see how are they projecting what happened, even though they have first-hand accountability of exactly what happened. Let's play it.
In Niagara Square, our team coverage on this story continues now with 7 Eyewitness News reporter Hannah Bueller. She's live downtown tonight. Hannah, bring us up to date.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, and Keith, just moments ago, hundreds of protesters that were gathered here in Niagara Square. They gathered here. They're protesting police brutality, protesting what happened here outside of City Hall last night.
Yes, protesting what happened outside of City Hall.
Protesters left. They walked up Delaware Avenue, and now they are slowly starting to once again gather here in the square. But moments ago, we heard from Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, who said he is not calling for the officers in this case to be fired at this point, but believes there needs to be a full investigation into what happened. He says the 75-year-old man was asked to leave multiple times after curfew last
Which is a very incorrect statement. We're going to talk about that at the very end.
That's been viewed around the globe, captured by a WBFO reporter in Buffalo as curfew arrives Thursday night. The fallout has 2 Buffalo police officers, each moving in on the other. You see this man, who has been identified as 75-year-old activist Martin GUGIN0, walk up and say something to police. He has a helmet in his hand. You then see a Buffalo police officer, who the I-team has learned is Aaron Torgalski, push the man to the ground with his hand. He can be seen bleeding from one ear. Buffalo police initially reported the incident to be a skirmish between officers and protesters, and that he, quote, tripped and fell. But then video surfaced, and 2 hours later, Buffalo Commissioner Byron Lockwood suspended the 2 officers in...
So this video right here is part of the footage I was talking about that came from ABC7, their own footage, not the NPR footage. You can kind of see Martin down below. You know, also I talked about too that she did mention in there that the Mayor Brown, you know, made the statement that Martin and other protesters were asked several times before this incident to leave. Time frame, she breaks it down. It happened at 8:15. It's also known that they did not call for everybody to go home until 8:05, so you have a 10-minute time frame difference in there. If you stay to the end of this video, we're going to get into who was Martin communicating with between 8 o'clock and the 8:15 time, and it's going to blow you away on who he was talking to. It wasn't the police force, but it's not, yeah, you'll see. Anyways, just kind of looking over here also, notice it's the military guy, it's the medic that I pointed out in the first part of the video here.
Involved without pay.
He should not have been pushed. That push caused him to fall backwards and strike his head.
You can see here Officer Torgalski is wearing his department-issued body camera, but...
So they're making a big deal out of it that all officers had body cameras. Go back and analyze. You'll find that a few of the officers that I kind of picked out which were kind of involved in here were not wearing body cameras. I don't know the reason. As I said before, I'm from California. I'm not from New York.
It is unclear if it was turned on and recording. The Buffalo Police Union lawyer said they will look at circumstances surrounding this incident. Social media erupted after the video surfaced, and many, like Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, are calling for the removal of the officers.
Yes, they need to be held responsible.
Actually, the one that needs to be held responsible would be ABC7 News. And for those of you that are in New York, you need to hold them responsible. You need to make sure they're putting out honest, information during their broadcast. And in the very next video, we're going to show what their video is, and you're going to understand exactly what I am talking about.
Responsible for their actions, not just firing. I think termination is appropriate.
We also know Erie County District Attorney John Flynn is now investigating.
I believe the district attorney is going to...
Well, I hope the district attorney is also looking into the news media that probably had first-hand information what was going to happen before it happened, and we're going to kind of get into that and kind of show what the facts are on that towards the end of the video too.
Do the right thing and move forward with the prosecution.
You are looking live now.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Family, and of course appreciates all of the well wishes received. He also hopes and wishes, he has a request that any protests continue to be peaceful here in Buffalo.
So she's talking about Martin made a little request of, peaceful protesting. From my understanding, and once again, I wasn't there, but per the statements of the protesters out there, they had a beautiful day, they had a good time, there was 3 arrests total, but there was not any sort of problems that arose that they are really standing out. It sounds like it was a very good day to be out there. And the picture kind of shows what she's talking about, for the beginning picture of this scene. There was only a couple protesters at the end.
We are live in downtown Buffalo tonight in Niagara Square. Hannah Bueller, 7 Eyewitness.
Let's watch our next video. So as I said before, this is the actual footage from ABC7 out of Buffalo, New York. Sorry it's a little bit on the blurry side, but you're going to get the gist of it. If I could have got a clearer copy, I would have actually played it for you. See a couple of key elements of this video. Okay, you'll see that Martin is starting over here by, I think that's a trash can, kind of goes around the boulder so he's in position. He doesn't begin to move. You're going to find out in the next video that he actually doesn't even begin to move until the officer says, what their command for them to start moving forward. That's when he also decides it's time for him to move forward. By the way, this guy right here, you see it in his hand, that is a camera. He was taking his pictures over here. He's getting ready for his action. And then we have our peaceful protesters over here. The one in the gray does have a camera and he is filming. And then right over here behind skateboard dude is our NPR photographer. So let's watch it. This was kind of bizarre that up top here they kept a couple officers also for the marching, which I don't understand that. Okay, so this is where he gets pushed. The skateboard guy goes running over, drops his skateboard, and photo time. Now, watch these two guys right here. You can always rewind it a couple of times if you need to. They actually start directing it. Our next video, which is put out by Spectrum News out of Buffalo, New York, is much clearer to watch what's going on. But this still has a lot of value because it's going to show what Spectrum video does not show. Okay, protester gets up. Got your photos. You got the guy in the gray. He's running back. That's a camera in his hand taking video. on there. Got some good shots. They got a protester. Now this is where it gets interesting. So skateboard guy runs for it, but second protester, he runs for it. If you remember from the first video, there's about 4 police cars down here, probably 10 police officers at the car. Watch what happens. Okay, if I'm a policeman and somebody's running away from the police, the first thing I'm going to do is run to capture them. And boom, camera swirls back and then goes right back to the runner. Okay, here's our runner, here's our policeman, of course here's our skateboard guy. Policeman just kind of stands there, doesn't go running over the runner. He just, oops, okay, here we go. Okay, go back. Okay, you can see the police officers are standing there. The runner's just kind of standing there. They're like, okay, my scene is done. I did my part. And let's go to play. I didn't get into this on this video. Probably the next one I will. Remember there was the woman policeman and she just kind of pushed him away, the NPR photographer. So you can see that it was very urgent that he leave the scene immediately. So he just kind of standing there. This was after the push away because they think that they're all out of the camera zone. Okay, let's watch our Spectrum video. It's a much clearer copy, close to this, but it shows a lot more. Okay, this video is put out by Spectrum News out of Buffalo. It seems like they must be a little bit of an independent news station, but they got some pretty good footage here that once again is showing what ABC7. So they're standing somewhere over there next to ABC7. And it's a little bit different take and a couple interesting little scenes in here that are absolutely worth watching. By the way, Spectrum sold this feed to Daily News, I think it was. So, you know, they are pushing it a little bit on there. I think it's the UK or whatever, Daily News. So let's watch it. Got your command. Okay, you see how Martin once again walking over, walking in. Camera going, skateboard guy there. Our protesters here are going to start directing things. You see their hands movements and stuff like that. But you're also going to see something else interesting here in a second. I'm not going to spoil it for you. There's some hand movement. Okay, we got more hand movement. Move it up, move it up, move it up. Directing the scene. Okay. Take our protester into custody. You can see clearly that he's pointed a camera at the policeman, watching them before he runs. Okay, so this angle here, you see the medics are already there. That's what makes it a little bit different is they're there right now. This guy, almost like they are trained to block the camera. They're more of a fence than a protection. Is kind of what I was getting out of this by their movements and how they're kind of getting in place. And I'm not saying that the Buffalo police were part of this whole thing. But if you look around, you would think that they would want to move out of the way to give them what they want. Now, Spectrum News appears to also have footage of putting into the ambulance also. So they may be one pursuing for how much footage do they actually have. Going back for one reason. I want to take it up to about... Oops. So I took it back for just a second because there's one part in here that I didn't show that I really need to show, and that would be the NPR photographer. Watch him as, remember in the first video, the police officer is pushing him away, pushing him away, pushing him away. So watch how he gets pushed away. So just keep a close eye on the policeman, this scene, I mean the reporter, nothing else. So here comes your police officer up there. Move along, move along, move along. Just notice that there's the stairs between them. He's all over there completely by himself. Okay. And if you watch at the very end, you can see he just now stands on the sidewalk. Here he is, just doing his thing. You know, what happened there, they had to be pushed along. Kind of bizarre. There, it's a cut. It's a wrap for him. Anyways, let's get on to our next video. I'll tell you in a second what it is. So this video here is very, very interesting because it puts the Spectrum News video with the WBFO TV video. Now obviously WBFO TV is getting their video from the NPR guy. So it's interesting because the person that did this, Pat Lee, this was found on their Facebook, was able to synchronize these to almost the exact same time. Take a look at how they kind of play out when they're both at the same time. It's kind of interesting watching the angles. I don't know if you can see it, but the way he fell, you can see it much closer from the Spectrum video. That you can see he lands clearly on his butt before he actually hits the ground on there. Just one of my little observations.
We have an EMT on scene.
It moved to one video because the other video already ended, so they're just showing the ending clips of the Spectrum News video. Just kind of interesting. This video is just kind of worth watching really fast, and only for the fact of it's 21 seconds. This is one of the officers right here that was on suspension the day before. I mean, he was out kneeling the day before the protest. Actually supporting the protesters. I thought that's kind of cool. Let's watch the difference here. So this is this officer right here. Here he is. That's him. But he's also one of the main actors. So for those of you that might remember back in the beginning, I made a comment about, I have several different videos, different angles. So far I've showed you 3 different videos. Here's number 4 right here. Take a look at what happens. This is kind of interesting. So I told you watch the guy with the yellow shirt on. Okay. This is very blurry because that's the best we could find. I don't know if it's been deleted, but it's just hard to find. So let me explain what's going on here. I don't know, the volume, the audio is not coming in very good. Anyways, the youth there, who is also seen in a protest or in a gathering earlier in a group, which we're going to show that video here in a minute, says, watch the old guy, watch the old guy. He's directing his girlfriend to watch the old guy. So of course the old guy is Martin, as they also have the advanced knowledge of what's going on. So they have their camera focused on the scene over here. He's saying, watch the old guy, watch the old guy. And let's go for the rest of the video. So what you just saw there was where they were freaking out like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, he fell over, he this, he that. But they're kind of showcasing that this entire thing was a setup from the beginning. People knew, the news cameras knew, they knew to have their cameras on. The guy in the yellow that I showcased in the beginning, he was part of the original protesters from the beginning of the day. He was out doing the marching with the group, and you're going to find out here in a second that several people had the advanced knowledge that this is what was going on. This next video is kind of interesting video. It happens after the protest for the day in Buffalo, New York, and it's by one of the bystanders there that was in the protest all day long. The reason I'm showing these images here is I'm going to tell you why I think of who it is, but of course I have no confirmation that it is. I think that it was probably this Russell John. I got this from his website. He had a watch party on here. Here, him and a photographer, and this photographer makes comment here, you know, great crowd today. Honestly, I'm enjoying documenting here. So Carl here, who is Carl Barber, he's a barber and he's also a photographer, took this image here. Russell John is commenting about what a great picture it is, but he's also putting that onto his Facebook also. There's a lot of similarities. This Russell John, and so this one here, Carlos, okay, and then you have a lot of similarity. So this is from Russell John's Facebook here. He talks about this, but okay, so I found the image. Okay, so this was Russell John's post from his Facebook right here. So nice spending time with my brother, second mom. The sun was in my eyes, LOL. Well, it'd probably be in your eyes if you're out protesting all day long, maybe. But then the question becomes, which one of these guys is Russell John? Well, either one of them could look like the guy holding up the sign. But then I look at this image here. And this image here, which was from also Russell John's, you know, says, I honestly thought it was you. And they're showing this image. So not really sure what they're talking about there. This one might be Russell John, might be the other one in the image. But either way, both of those images look like the guy that holds up the sign. Now, it appears that the Russell John guy is the same one that took this spectator video that we're about ready to watch. Now, I want you to take note here. According to the Kathleen and Russell to Russell John, you know, she thanks him for sharing it because it is actually a really good video. She was there yesterday too and was baffled by the disrespect behavior showed by the protester that was there, you know, there to support. No, so that would of course be the old man, the 75-year-old Martin. I was confused, you know, all day from that. He was not a protester and did not join the group. I didn't want to assume the worst, and I'm absolutely in no way condone to the violence used against him, you know, by any armed officer. And then it goes on, and she actually says a lot of great stuff, and this is under the, and I bring this up because it's under Russell John's post under Facebook, so if he doesn't take it down, it's worth reading. It's worth kind of sharing. But this is the video that they had, and this video was done from when they talk about at the end. Why was it done? It's because they felt that he was, well, one, he was an outsider, and they're like, who is this guy? He's not part of the group. I think he's an undercover police officer. And they're just really, really curious. The Kathleen takes a couple other pictures of him. She takes pictures with him with the media. I'll show those in a little bit, just before, you know, the incident happens, and some other things. And she documents it very nice. She actually shows the timestamp on her photo, you know, that shows it. So I'm going to show all that in a little bit. So let's watch this video. It's I'm not going to stop it much. It's sometimes hard to hear, but you'll get the gist of it. There's Martin, there's skateboard photographer dude. That could be, the skateboard photographer dude could be the barber. Take note here that Martin sees no urge at all for a face mask. None.
Yo, what's going on here? Fill me in.
He said that he came down here for fun. Fun about this shit. I don't see no fucking ground.
I was just crying. That shit was, yeah. No.
So he's about ready to get punched in the face because he's not part of
I was
that.
just crying.
You're just irritating
Moment
him.
of silence.
He says he's there for only fun.
Because she spoke out against another police officer.
So here they're kind of confirming that that helmet is for his own motorcycle. It's not to hand back to the police officers, not a protest helmet, anything like that.
Yo, I think I know you. I saw you at Burger King, gave you a ride home. My phone didn't work. Yeah, that's me. Isn't that crazy? Oh, sorry. You said, do you think that boy bad? That's what you said? Do you think he's bad?
So there's a second part to this video. I'm going to pause it for just a half a second and bring up the second part, which I got to pull from a different video from the same guy. And it shows Martin in a whole different area, and it's who he's with is who you need to see.
Oh, you know, Saturday? I was there too. On Bailey. What?
So this next small clip kind of goes into the socializing of Martin. So a couple things that I'm just going to kind of point out here really fast before you see the video is Martin seemed to have some sort of a relationship with the NPR photographer before this whole thing even went down. So this is the NPR photographer. Here's his cord here for his mic. He's holding his mic here. Martin is standing right over in here. Here's Martin, and they're just kind of relaxing before showtime, as they would say. This is a picture of Martin side by side with the NPR guy. Looks like they're probably on the same stone. They're just having a nice little chat or whatever. Take note that in all three of these pictures here, Martin has no mask on, and this is just minutes before showtime. No mask. Obviously over here there is no mask. Here, we can blow that up a little bit on here. So here's Russell John. He was right in front of the guy, got knocked down. Yeah, so he's kind of telling his story. Once again, taken from his Facebook. If you want to learn more about it, you know, look at his Facebook and take a look at what they have to say on there. Anyways, this was kind of interesting too. So this one here goes back to, from the Russell John's page, Kathleen Ann, okay. Found him on the other photo, the time at 8, protesting on the step, okay. So what she's saying here is that these guys here are news reporters. The time is 8:01. According to the documents that we heard earlier from ABC7 News, it all started at the time of 8:15. So Kathleen documents her time by actually showing the screenshot of her phone. So here's the image details right here. This is the photo right here, and it you know, certifies that the time was 8:01 on June 4th, and that's her story, and she's sticking to it, and it's probably real. Okay, now when you see Martin here in this video, starting right about here, maybe. Okay, so it's a little bit of an overlap of the other video. We got Martin here. Fast forward just a little bit, getting a little battery mode, and all of a sudden the camera is still panning around. It changes scenes a little bit right here, and boom, that would be Mr. NPR and Martin hanging out chatting. Unfortunately, we don't have a time on this camera feed, but I'm just going to guess it's probably got to be later in the evening, 7:30ish, but I'm only guessing. This is what it looked like before they cleared out the protesters. According to Kathleen, 8:01, they were still there. This all happened 8:15. I promised you something really, really good at the end. Well, I think I'm going to deliver. I have 2 short videos left, and in my opinion, these videos are more or less, especially the very last one, probably the smoking gun. So who are these videos from? Let's talk a little bit about quickly who they're from. The first one is from the protester that was sitting on the sideline next to the guy holding up the Black Lives Matters. Okay, and his video was right next to Mike here from the NPR. Okay, and if you notice, these two are having a really nice casual conversation. It's like buddy buddy. I think that skateboard dude right here. I'm kind of getting to know a little bit about who's who from the little bit of research. Anyways, I don't know if you're aware of who the NPR dude is. So NPR dude is Mike. There it is, Mike DeMons. Mike DeMons is one of the Western New York's most experienced reporters. Hey Mike, let me tell you this. I'm gonna look right in the camera. It's time to retire. Okay? If you don't retire, okay, may I make a suggestion to your employer? Okay, it's time to fire him for this hoax. Okay, bye-bye, Mike. Okay, anyways, let's get on to our videos. Okay, video 1 here. This was taken by the big crowd of protesters, all 2 of them. Actually, just the one on the left. Okay, so first off, let's go back really fast. What did you see right here? There he is. There's our man right here. What's he doing? He is waiting. What's he waiting for? He's waiting for the command. Okay, on 3. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Okay, Martin, you know what to do. There's Mike.
Hey!
Okay, here's our protester getting up.
What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm moving back.
So what he said is, what the F are you doing walking up on me? I'm moving back. Okay? It's just like, oh, come on, seriously? These guys don't move that fast. And he didn't even say anything. He just walked up on him. Okay, let's go to our next video. So this last video here, I did not do the overlay. So let's kind of talk about what's going on here. This looks like our ABC7 crew right here. You got other people with cameras. You got this guy, it looks like he's handing out water here. This is the 8 p.m. curfew. They're telling everybody, go home, go home, go home. And look what we got. Ready? Here we go. Action. Okay, here's our Martin, just walked by. So it's 8 p.m. So now Martin, if you didn't notice, actually has his mask on. Right here. He's ready for action. And there's some in the crowd that knows what's up. Why? Watch. Okay, so here he is with Mike just before the time. But more impressive. Hey, he's got himself a new buddy. It's selfie time. Look at that. Time for a little bit of selfie action. And not only with Martin, I think you ought to take a selfie with Mike too, because they're all going to be celebrities. Kind of like having an autograph before the big fight. There we go. There we go. Okay. This is interesting. Watch the camera crew. Okay. Here they both are. Martin, Mike, getting ready. The officers are lining up. Okay. Protesters have left the media, and GUGIN0 remains. GUGIN0 takes a seat on the steps. He's kind of waiting for what's happening. Watch what happens. Look at the camera crews lining up across the street. Camera crew right there. There's our stairs. Absolutely nobody around. Okay, here we go. A couple minutes later. There we go. Here is Martin sitting down. Here is our two protesters. Here's our NPR right here. And you got a couple cops lining up down here getting ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. Okay, let's do our countdown. 5, 4, there we go, here we go. There's our walk, there's our walk. Come on through. Oh, there's the fall. The chaos begins. Okay, does the protesters look like they're in harm? He's just filming. Look at his distance. Remember the previous video? You thought he'd be right next to him. It's like it says here, a coordinated attempt, you decide. You got to ask yourself, what is this? So let's close this out. I got a few pictures I'd love to go over, kind of go through as our closing on here. This first picture I thought was kind of interesting because it was his ear that was bleeding. It was the back of his head that supposedly he cracked open. And if you look at his forehead right here, it's got blood all over it. And this is just seconds after this whole thing happened. So just moments later. And the camera crew's sitting right there in front of him. So right after that, this is what the scene looked like. And The purpose of these guys is mostly, in my opinion, now keep in mind, my opinion is to keep the media out of there because they don't want you getting too close to know what really happened. You know, why is this guy here? That's a great question. Why is his partner down here as the medic with the guns that they're carrying? Who is this guy, this other medic here? I did see this medic the night before in one of the other protest demonstrations walking with the police officer. He probably is some sort of a medic police officer. It's really hard to say. Just, you know, like I said, a couple of questions, you know, to, you know, kind of kick around. By the way, those photos that I just showed you, that one, probably taken by ABC7 News. They seem to have the best pictures or the best video clips that are kind of in their news broadcast. Research their webpage, their Twitter page, and their Facebook if you want to dig deep, and you will find a lot more content. It's just, you know, I can only take it so far. I wanted to go over this one more time. It's a little video presentation of the fall itself. So this is the very beginning where he's getting touched. This is picture number 2 where he's down, and just kind of go through the count right here. So his head is clearly up off the ground. So there's, in my opinion, there's no question there. You may question that, but I think I could easily, you know, slide my hand under his head with ease. Okay. Now the officer is kneeling down. We have this officer here grabbing him, shoving him out of the way. His head did not move. Officer here did move. He was in an upright position. Now he's in a leaning position, and he's one step closer. Next picture, he pulls back up. Head, exact same position. Officer here still pushing him away. Next position, oh well, I guess I'm not going to help you. And if you look closely, so he started back here by his feet, already past his head. His head is still extremely well elevated off the ground. Did he smash his head open? Wow. Last picture, just shortly thereafter, that's where he drops his head down. You can find this video. This is the one by the NPR. Take it in very slow motion. Try to see where he lands on his hands. He bounces back up, and then he just rolls himself into that straight position. Couple of little final things to kind of touch on here as they're all leaving the scene when it's all said and done. Found this from another video here. Once again, I can't show you all the videos. There's just too much. Our no-name Mr. kind of wannabe officer here, leaving, first one to leave. But more interesting, who's still hanging out here? Got his camera going, got a little bit more footage going. Then you got your real news team here, real news team here. You know, is this a studio or what? You know, you decide. I'm not gonna put nothing in your head there. Well, maybe I already have. I don't know. Found this really interesting reading. So I found this once again. This is part of a thread for Rutzel John. Very interesting about Catherine Ann. She obviously was there. Okay. So I'm sure this is not gonna go. Okay, he sat leaning against the cement spears, staring at the group. He was asked peacefully, okay, sit and join us, but refused because he wasn't protesting. He said he was just there for fun and to see what would happen. Well, obviously we know. Okay, when 8 p.m. came and we all sat on the steps to peacefully protest, okay, he was still across the street with the reporters. He talked to the NPR guy the most. At first, the two sides of the group were at odds about leaving. Okay, Joan wanted to push the boundary. Officers gave the group space as they, okay, debated and then approached the other side of the circle, and the group, okay, left. Okay, the guy in the short stayed with the other one, and it was that and the old man. Personally, I found him, okay, offensive. Okay, so, okay, I'm not writing this, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, interesting reading. Kathleen absolutely has a lot to say. Okay, Martin did not fit in. She makes it very clear. They had no idea what he was doing there. Obviously, he had plans. Obviously, the news teams had plans. He was there for a reason. He was there for fun. He's having a lot of fun right now. Okay, what does Martin think about the police? Okay, so you remember this incident happened on the 4th. This was one day before, almost about 22 hours, no, 21 hours before the incident right here, 11:21 p.m. F the police. He makes it real clear. And of course, okay, ABC7 News Bay Area. I don't know why he's doing that. I think that's San Francisco, ABC7 News Bay Area. It's not his local news team. But, oh, he's just kind of commenting on that. He really enjoys it. He hates the police, you know. There's a lot of talk out there. Google it, look it up. A lot going on Twitter that he's been arrested many times. Have I verified it? No, I haven't verified it. It's not up here. Is it true? I don't know. It probably is, but I don't know. Okay, anyways, Martin, protests are exempt from the curfews because Congress and the mayors may make no laws that abridge the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and okay, the government should receive the compliment, not arrest the people or beat them. Okay, well, Martin, you should have ran for office. Okay, right here, 409 on, looks like the 3rd. Cops should not have clubs, okay, and should not be in riot gear. The National Guard should arrest the police. Okay, this photo has gone out a lot, and I'm going to debunk it right now because I've seen the video that debunks this photo. It talks about him on the phone as he's getting in the ambulance. ABC News, release the video, okay? I saw it on your site. I saw it at one of your newscasts. He's getting in there. He has his hand on the collar. It's not at a phone, okay? Where's the video? Show it. Okay, Mayor Brown. Okay, this is kind of interesting because we have a couple tweets here. We have 2 tweets to talk about here. You got Andrew Cuomo, you got Mayor Brown, 8:01 p.m., 8:09 p.m. I took these screenshots. I'm 3 difference. That puts them at 11 p.m. in that range. Okay, so what does the mayor say? My thoughts are with the victim tonight. I ask you this, Mayor Brown. Okay, did you watch this whole video? Are your thoughts really with the victim tonight? Who's the victim, Mayor Brown? Is it the police officers? Okay, was this a setup? Who's the victim? You know who the victim is, Mayor Brown? The good people of Buffalo are the victim, Mayor, because how much does this already cost them? Okay, we want justice, Mayor. We want justice. This needs to never ever happen again, that a hoax like this can be put together by the media and possibly by upper officials in your police department. Okay, this was a coordinated attack on your people of Buffalo. Okay, Andrew Cuomo, I say the same thing to you. Okay, I spoke with Mayor Brown and we agree that the officers involved should be immediately suspended pending a formal investigation. You know, the only investigation that they should be investigated for is were they involved in this hoax? Did they know about this hoax in advance? Who coordinated this hoax? That's my question. Somebody in the police department coordinated this hoax to be choreographed at just the right time, just the right way. Somebody notified the media to be there. Who is that? Or is it just standard that after everybody leaves, the media is still all set up with their camera gear? Show me one other incident. I challenge you, Andrew Cuomo. Okay, your brother, CNN, okay, he should have access to it. I'd love to see the video. Love to see it, Andrew. Okay, hey, look at this. Buffalo protest, Martin, okay, GUGIN0, okay, is out of ICU, moved to rehab, okay. This was published on June 9th, okay, today is the 11th, updated on the 11th, okay, so he's out. But guess what? I just looked, okay, at my Gmail, you know, for news topics, and what's it saying? Look it up for yourself. Massive brain injury is what it sounded like to me. Maybe he needs to go back in. Or they didn't explain how his brain is injured. So you decide. Okay, lastly, ABC7. Okay, what do you know? When did you know it? Why are you putting out false information? We see you. You were there. Okay? Release all the videos. All of it. Uncut. Stream it. Put it on the Twitter. Put it on the Facebook. Put it on YouTube. We don't care how we get it. We want all the video uncut. Okay. Lastly, okay, Guinness Book of World Record. Okay. We need this one in there. 8 seconds, start to finish, from the time that he committed the crime till he's in handcuffs. 8 seconds. That is a Guinness Book World Record. I challenge anybody to find me something quicker. Okay? That is amazing, and I am proud to be a witness to that great feat. And lastly, Buffalo protester expected to be released from the hospital in 2 weeks. Okay, all I got to say is, you know, I'm sorry, Martin. Has this been a pain in your ass? Because that's all that landed. Well, it could be your wrist too. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm in California. Okay? But something's up with that, Martin. Anyways, hey, if you like this video, please hit the share button on it. Please come friend me on Twitter. I am Gary's Town. Okay, at Gary's Town on Twitter. Happy to have you following me on Twitter. If you want to contact me, at Gary's Town on Twitter. You want more videos, you want a little bit better quality than what's being uploaded of what I have here, you know, just ask, you know, hey, I don't care. But, you know, we're all in this together, and the only thing I'm looking for is honesty. All I want is some honesty here. Anyways, it's been great, you know, giving you this presentation. This was my first presentation. After you hit the like, hit the share, please give me a comment on what you thought about it. I know it was a little bit long. I know it was a little bit drawn out. But, you know, there was a lot of great information in this video. And I do thank you for, you know, watching it. You know, hope that it means something to you. I hope that this is a way to help Buffalo rebuild, along with other cities that have been hit by false attacks, if this was a false attack. Anyways, take care, and we'll see you all in the next video. I enjoyed doing this one. We'll do it again.